Hey there, this is Christy from birdmentor.com, where I teach advanced skills to beginning birders, and this is Nature Note today. It's May 7th. Just wondering how this video is going to do. It looks like it's a little delayed, but let's see. We're just winging it today. We'll try it anyway. And also, I might get some protests. I have a little house wren nest that they're building their nest right now in a birdhouse I have right next door. And when I was first starting these Facebook Live videos, that's a cardinal right now. When I was first starting these videos, there was no house wren building its nest, and so they now are, and they may not appreciate my presence here. So we'll see. If you hear some hollering in the background, it's probably them. And perfect segue, because today the thing I wanted to talk to you all about and share with you is about bird beaks. So just wanting to kind of blend a little bit of what I do teaching people about birds with this nature note. And so just making something simple for you all to have an easier way to connect with nature. And a lot of people, when they're first trying to learn about birds, it feels very overwhelming. Like you fall in love with the birds and you're like, these are amazing. Like, I want to learn more about them. And it's like, oh my God, there's so many, and like, it's so hard to learn about them. Where do I start? And so my tip for today, just to make everything really simple for you, is that if you look at nothing else on a bird, look at its bill. And so the reason I say this is because a bird's bill will tell you what family that bird is in. And so birds are kind of in different categories, and you know, our modern scientific system has, you know, put the groups into families. There's different ways of pairing and grouping birds. You know, some, I know where I was in New Mexico. I spent some time in New Mexico, and there was different native communities down there, some Pueblo villages that had different ways of categorizing the birds and putting them into different groups. It's really fascinating. You can look into that if you want to, but for today's purposes, I'm just going to talk about how to figure out what bird you're actually seeing. And so simply just looking at that bird's bill is the great place to start. And so a really good example, like I was just talking about this little wren who has its house right next to me right here. Now the wren has this really skinny little down curved bill, right? Compared to the one that it's actually doing battle with quite often, which is a song sparrow, which just popped its head out over here, which also is beginning to build its nest. I haven't found that nest yet, but I know it's very close to here because the song sparrow and the wren are doing battle like almost every day. And so when you look at a sparrow bill, think about, like, if you've ever seen a song sparrow or another kind of sparrow before, like what kind of a bill does that bird have? Just think about that for a second. So it's usually short and it's kind of stout, you know. It looks like the classic sort of bird bill when you see, I don't know, when lots of people draw birds, they draw that like classic little, you know, wedge-shaped bird bill. And so that's more of the sparrow, whereas the wren family has that skinny down curved bill. And so just that alone, what's amazing is, like, so we have something like 914 species of birds in North America. And when you categorize it and take a bird and think about it in terms of its family, you just narrowed your choices down from like 914 down to sometimes just 2 or 3, you know, depending on what region you live in. And so for here, there's like, I don't know, about 4 different wrens it could possibly be. And gosh, right now this time of year, I think there's like maybe 6 to 8 different sparrows that we might possibly have. And so if I look at this little bird that I just saw and I didn't know what it was, and I see this little down curved bill and I see a really tiny little bird, it's like, okay, it's a tiny little bird with a little down curved bill. Like, that's probably a wren. Great. Now I only have 4 choices instead of 914. So yeah, so that's just my little tip for you to help you learn more about birds and just connect more with nature. Make it not so challenging and not so scary for people to get out there and begin their journey. If you think that this video would be helpful for someone that you know, feel free to share it. I'd love to also hear from you. Like, if there's anything that, any story you have that you want to tell me about anything on any of the Facebook Live videos, but this one in particular, about any bird bills that have helped you figure out which bird it was. I'd love to hear about that too. So yeah, it was nice to see you all. Hey Kobe, I hope you're well. All right, thanks so much for joining me, everybody. Have a great day.